Myself, Dilip Chandra Dotto, TGT assistant from JNP Nagaon, Assam, is going to present Class 8 History Chapter 5 When People Rebel 1857 and After. The chapter is about the revolt of 1857 in India against the colonial rulers, the East India Company. This revolt was a significant revolutionary event for many reasons. It was not only a blow to the mighty East India Company, but was an eye-opening for the Britishers. Now let us have a glimpse of the objectives of the chapters. The main objectives of the chapter are the groups involved in the revolt, causes of the revolt, breakout of the revolt, spread of the revolt, places of the revolt, person and leader involved in the revolt, and how the company fight back, and ultimately after the revolt, what happened, what are the changes that occur after the revolt. Now we come to know that there were different groups of people that were dissatisfied by the company who involved in the revolt. These groups were Indian soldiers of the company, peasants and zamindars, tribes, and the rulers, particularly kings, queens, nawab, and nobles, who were involved in the revolt. Now the question arises, why these groups of people were unhappy? There are many causes. Let us discuss the causes one by one. First, the political cause. The main political cause was the policy of expansions adopted by East India Company, such as doctrine of lapse, which was applied to annex many kingdoms in India. The last territory which was annexed by this policy was Awadh. Moreover, company wanted to reduce the power of the Indian kings, and they did not give due respect to Indian kings. For example, the company official decided that Bahadur Shah Jafar would be the last Mughal king in India, and his family would be shifted from Red Fort after his death. Secondly, military cause. These are mostly related to the Indian soldiers of the company. Low salary and allowances, poor service conditions, and new law passed in 1856, according to which the soldier had to sign an agreement to go abroad if required, and also the new rifles and cartridges. The third is the social reform introduced in India by the company. They passed law to introduce some reform in India, such as widow remarriage, ban on sati, beginning of English education, education for girls, such reform policy, although were accepted by a section of educated person, but most of the Indian villagers or rural people were against such reforms. Fourth is religious expansion and discrimination. Indian people were not happy with the functioning of the Christian missionaries in India. The company gave free hand for the functioning of the Christian missionaries in the country. The company passed a new law in 1850 to make conversion to Christianity easier. Such religious activities were considered the destructive activity against the Indian society, culture, and belief. Fifth, economic cause. For administrative measures in the countryside, the company introduced new revenue system. In this new revenue system, people in the rural areas had to pay high tax, and the system of collection of the revenue was very strict. As a result, the people in the villages had to lose their land to the money lenders. This was the conditions for the rural people. Now the student come to the main point, the breakout of the revolution. The revolution started with the mutiny or attack of the soldier to their officer in Meerut cantonment. On 29 March, already Mongol Pandey in the Barakpur cantonment was hanged to death for not obeying his officers. In Meerut also, the company army officers ordered an armed drill with the new rifles and cartridges. The sepoys in the cantonment refused to participate in the drill. Now question is, why did the sepoys refuse to use the new cartridge? The sepoys refused to use the new cartridge because it was believed that the new cartridge was coated with fats of pig or cows. So, both Hindu and Muslim sepoys of the company considered it as the attack on their religious sentiment. Due to this act of the soldiers, 85 of them were dismissed from service and they were sentenced to 10 years jail. Therefore, the other soldiers in the Meerut cantonment became very angry and they reacted quite extraordinarily. The very next day, that is on 10th May 1857, they all marched to the jail and released the imprisoned soldiers. After this, they captured guns and ammunition, set fire to the buildings and properties of the company, and finally, the soldier declared war on the company's officers. The soldier considered the company officer as Firangis. After the outbreak of the event in Meerut, it started to spread in different areas of India. Now, the question comes to our mind, how it spread to other areas of India? Who did help to spread it? Dear students, I want to tell you that the spread of rebellion was helped by two factors. First, march of the soldiers from Meerut to Delhi overnight on 10th May 1857, just after the attack in Meerut. The second, the involvement of Bahadur Shah Jafar, the last Mughal king of India. As I told you, the soldiers in Meerut marched overnight and reached Delhi in the next morning. Hearing their arrival, the soldiers in Delhi cantonment also rose up in rebellion and they attacked in the same way the soldier did in Meerut. They attacked the British officials, they seized arms and ammunition, set fire to the buildings and properties of the company, and after this they moved and gathered around the Red Fort and requested Bahadur Shah Jafar to participate with them. As the news spread, the soldiers from different areas also marched to Delhi. For example, Waqt Khan took charge of a large force from Bareilly and marched to Delhi. At first, Bahadur Shah Jafar was not willing to challenge the mighty British power, but the soldiers so persisted and forced that ultimately he accepted and he was proclaimed as the leader of the sepoys. Support of the Bahadur Shah Jafar gave an extra energy to the rebellion because he wrote letters to all the chiefs and rulers of the country to come forward and organize a confederacy of Indian state to fight the British. As a reply to his letter, different kings and rulers, Jamindars and other leaders also participate in the movement. Now, we can know where the important activities was of the movement took place. Some of the important places can be pointed out in the map. The important places are Delhi, Lucknow, Jhansi, Kanpur, Barakpur, Gwalior and many other places. Dear student, let us know about prominent persons and leaders involved in the revolt of 1857. First, Mangal Pandey. Mangal Pandey was a soldier in Barakpur cantonment. He was hacked to death on 29 March 1857 for attacking his officers in the cantonment. Second, as you know, Bahadur Shah Zafar. He was the last Mughal king of India. He was proclaimed as the leader in the revolt. Next, an important person named Bhakt Khan, a sepoy from Bareilly. He took charge of a large force of fighters who came to Delhi. Next, Rani Lakshmibai of Jhansi. She joined the rebel sepoys and fought the British. She was defeated and killed in June 1858. The next important person is Nana Sahib. He was adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao II, who lived near Kanpur and gathered armed force. He expelled the British force from the city of Kanpur. Then another important person was Tantia Topi. He was the general of Nana Sahib, but he escaped to jungle and continued to fight a guerrilla war. He was captured and tried and killed in April 1859. Another important leader was Rani Avantibai Ludhi of Ramgarh in Madhya Pradesh. She led an army and captured Khetri, but ultimately she chose to death when she was surrendered by the British army. Another important person was Ahmadullah Shah. He led a large number of Ghazi or religious wars. He was from Faziabad. Another important Jamindar who joined in the rebel was Kaur Singh. He was from Bihar. He joined the sepoys, battled with the British for many months. Dear student, so here in this part of the video, we have discussed about the groups, causes, places and people involved in the revolt of 1857. In the next of the video, we will discuss the reaction of the company and the changes that took place after the revolt. Thank you.